In this excerpt from the 5-hour video Pool's Biggest Secrets Revealed 3 Pattern Play, I'm going to show you a great drill for fine-tuning your cue ball control. This is a great drill to practice before leagues or tournaments. So if you're ready, let's get started. Now we're going to begin half-table pattern play. We're going to start with 3 balls and run them in order using only center, center low, and center high. And we can pocket the object balls in any of the 6 pockets, but our cue ball has to stay within this half of the table. Also, decide on which pocket you're going to shoot each ball into before you begin the run. If the cue ball crosses the halfway point, you have to start the run over. Removing this half of the table for the cue ball takes away a player's safety net, which means they have to be much more precise in their speed control. So this is our first pattern. Examine the layout and determine the best way to run out this rack in order, starting with ball in hand. And be very specific. For instance, not only pick the pocket for each ball, but figure out how you're going to strike the cue ball for each shot, and exactly where you want the cue ball to end up. If you need to pause the video, please do so now. And what I tell my students is that you never pick your pocket for the 1 ball until you decide what pocket you're going to play the 3 ball in. So you're basically working backwards from the 3 ball. Working backwards like this is really going to help your ability to run out, especially as we get into more complicated 8 ball and 9 ball patterns. For this pattern, it's pretty simple. We're going to shoot the 3 ball into this pocket. So what's the best way to get from the 2 ball to the 3 ball? Well, if the cue ball were here, all I would have to do is roll in the 2 ball and position on the 3 would be automatic. So this would be the ideal position for the 2 ball. Now, since we know where we need to be for the 2 ball, we now have to figure out the best way to get to this spot from the 1 ball. Now, a common mistake that many players make when playing position is playing position into an open area instead of using a rail. And here's what I mean. When I set this pattern up for my students, many of them will choose this method of shooting the 1 ball, where they try to follow the cue ball into our ideal position spot. And they usually end up striking the cue ball too easy, leaving themselves too much angle on the 2 ball. Or they strike the cue ball too hard, leaving themselves with a flat angle on the 2 ball. Playing into an open area like this means that your window for position is rather small. Your speed control has to be almost perfect. So the easiest way to get from the 1 ball to this area is by shooting the 1 ball into the side pocket. And for this shot, we're going to use a rolling cue ball and come off the side rail. Now once the cue ball gets near the rail, we can now see that the window for position is much larger than when we were trying to roll the cue ball into an open area. Coming off a rail like this doesn't require perfect speed, and when the cue ball leaves the rail, it remains on the correct line for position. And as we discussed in the previous section, you have to develop a feel for where the rolling cue ball is going after contact with the object ball. So since I need to end up in this area, my cue ball will probably be coming off the rail around here after making the 1 ball. So if I make the 1 ball and hit my spot on the rail, even if I hit the cue ball too hard, it's still going to stay on the correct angle for the 2 ball. Now if you shoot this shot and you're hitting the rail way up here, that means you didn't have enough angle on the 1. And if your rolling cue ball ends up hitting the rail too far down, that means you gave yourself too much angle. The correct angle will allow you to shoot at near minimum speed and still get your position on the 2 ball. This type of shot is going to come up over and over again throughout the rest of this video. So practice this shot until you can hit your mark over and over again. So now when I run this pattern out, you can see that the angles are doing all the work for me. Meaning all I have to do is pocket the ball and the cue ball naturally travels for a position on the next ball. Okay, so here's the next pattern. Study the pattern and try to figure out the best way to run out the balls in order with ball in hand. The key shot here is getting the proper angle on the 2 to get on the 3 ball. Okay, so just like the first pattern, we're going to work backwards. I know I'll be shooting the 3 into this pocket, so now I need to find a good angle on the 2 ball that gives me shape on the 3. And right about here is a good angle. All I have to do is roll the 2 ball in, and my position on the 3 is automatic. Once again, the angle is doing all the work for me. So, how do I get to this area from the 1 ball? During a normal league or tournament game, many players would put the cue ball here, and they would use spin to drive the cue ball toward the side rail and out. And what usually happens is once that spin hits the second rail, it takes off and they end up too far away, or they miss-hit the 1 ball and go crashing into the 2 ball. Or they put the cue ball here and they try to drift into this open area. And since their speed control has to be almost perfect, most of the time they either end up shooting too easy or too hard. Now I'm going to show you an easy way to get to this area just by hitting center on the cue ball. And it may not be easy for you at first, but once you get the hang of this shot, you'll be surprised at how well you can control the speed. So the key to this shot is to put the cue ball fairly close to the 1 ball and really concentrate on trying to hit just a slice of the 1 ball. The first few times you try this shot, you'll probably hit too much of the 1 ball, sending the cue ball toward the middle of the table. And don't shoot this shot too quickly. Take your time and make sure that your aim is right on. Now as I run this pattern out, you can see that it doesn't take much of an effort on each shot. I'm just using the angles to help move the cue ball around the table for a position. Here's the third pattern. Study this pattern and try to figure out the best way to run them out in order with ball in hand. And once again, we'll work backwards from the 3 ball, and this is obviously the pocket we want to shoot the 3 ball in. So we now need to find the easiest way to get position on the 3 ball. If the cue ball ended up here above the 2 ball pocket line, all I would have to do is pocket the 2 and shape on the 3 would be automatic. So what's the best way to get to this position area from the 1 ball? Well, I could put the cue ball here at an angle and try to draw the cue ball to this area, but I've ended up short and on the wrong side of the 2 ball pocket line. Trying to play position into an open area without using a rail requires excellent speed control. Too easy or too hard, and you may be left with a difficult situation. Now I'll show you an easy way to get your correct angle. Find the pocket line that goes through the side pocket and the 2 ball. This is the line you must cross to get the correct angle on the 2 ball. So I've marked the spot where the 2 ball pocket line meets the rail. Now I need to put the cue ball at the correct angle on the 1 ball so the cue ball will head toward this spot on the rail. If the cue ball can hit this spot on the rail, it should come off the rail and end up in my position zone. Now I'm on the correct side of the pocket line. So all I have to do is pocket the 2 and the cue ball will naturally head down to the end rail for position on the 3. And when this pattern is run out correctly, it takes very little effort. Here's the 4th 3 ball pattern. Once again, figure out the easiest way to run out the balls in order with ball in hand. The key shot is getting the correct angle on the 2 to get on the 3. Now here are 3 options players may choose when trying to run this pattern out. In the first option, the player would try to shoot the 1 and draw back for the 2 in the corner. But if they get a funny angle on the 2, they'll be left with a difficult shot to get position on the 3. Or they'll draw the cue ball back to play the 2 ball into the other side pocket. This option requires very good speed control and is considered very risky. Even if you can perform this shot successfully, it's not about being able to do it once or twice. It's about being able to perform this position shot consistently, especially when you're under pressure. The other option is to shoot the 1 and come off the rail for the 2 ball in the other side. Once again, this requires excellent speed control. Too softly or too hard and you may be in trouble. Remember, you have to play the pocket you picked for the 2 ball, so if you pick the side pocket, that's the pocket you have to make the 2 ball in. In order to figure out the easiest way to run the balls out, I need to work backwards from the 3 ball. But the 3 ball is between both corner pockets, so before I decide on which pocket I want for the 3, I need to examine where the 1 and 2 are. Just like the last pattern, if the cue ball crosses the 2 ball line, all I would have to do is pocket the 2 and shaping the 3 would be automatic. Now I'm going to pocket the 3 in the lower left corner pocket and the 2 in the right side pocket. So I'll show you an easy way to get to our position area from the 1 ball. I'm going to place the cue ball here. I'll shoot it a little below center and come off the other side rail for shape on the 2. And by coming off the other side rail, our position window is pretty large. I don't have to have perfect speed control. And since I don't need perfect speed control, my consistency on this position shot should be pretty high. Now once I'm here, it's just a matter of pocketing the 2 ball. So when you try this shot, make sure you're putting the cue ball fairly close to the 1 ball. And pay special attention to what part of the cue ball you are striking. If you strike extremely high in the cue ball, you'll hit lower on the other side rail. If you strike extremely low on the cue ball, you'll be hitting much higher up on the other side rail. Practice this shot until you can consistently get the proper angle on the 2-ball. Once you get the hang of this shot, it won't require much effort at all to run all 3 balls out. So here is our last 3-ball pattern. Study the layout and figure out the best way to run out the pattern. The key shot here is getting the correct angle on the 2 to get on the 3. The first thing I'll look at is the 3-ball, and it looks like I'll be playing the 3-ball in this corner pocket. So how do I get position on the 3-ball from the 2-ball? Well, there are a couple different ways to get position on the 3 from the 2. The first one is to shoot the 1 and end up here on the 2-ball. Then we would just follow off the end rail and back up for position on the 3-ball. The problem with playing the pattern this way is that it's not a natural position shot, meaning you have to use a little bit of force to follow the cue ball off the end rail and back up toward the target zone. Plus, since we're restricted to half a table, our speed has to be pretty precise. Now I'm going to show you more of a natural position shot to get on the 3-ball. First, we'll put the cue ball here and cut the 1-ball in. If you shoot this shot correctly, you should end up in this area. Once you're here, it's just a matter of pocketing the 2-ball and your cue ball will naturally head to your target area. And on this shot, even if you strike the shot too firmly, you're still going to be okay. Your position window is much larger than the previous positional shot. So if you play the correct angles in this pattern, it won't take much effort at all to run all 3 balls. Here is the first 4-ball pattern. Study the